Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, a warm welcome from my side to each one of you, and thank you for joining us today for this session. I'm Sami Mukadam. I'm a group product manager at Servier, and on behalf of Servier, I would like to wish all of you a very happy World Pharmacist Day. I'm sure you have been attending our courses arranged by IP and Servier for the last two courses. And today, on the occasion of World Pharmacist Day, we're happy to bring to you something very different, but something we will find it is a need of today's situation, and you all appreciate the kind of offering that we have today for you. So as we normally do, before we go to the actual presentation, allow me to take you through the Servier's corporate presentation, which I will cover rather quickly so that I can give maximum time to the folks from Silver Oak who are with us and for a wonderful presentation. So allow me to present the corporate presentation slides for Servier, which starting which of course you do know by now that we are an international pharmaceutical group governed by a non-profit foundation which has a lot of implications, as we will see on the next slide on your screens. Next slide, please. Okay, so just at a glance to take you through the nuances of Servier. Servier happens to be an entirely independent company, which of course by now you mean that we are not governed by shareholders or a family or a group which governs Servier. In fact, it's governed by a non-profit foundation. What it helps us is that it helps us to take decisions which are in the for the benefit of patients, for the benefit of healthcare workers, rather than for profits or for shareholders or for one particular family, because that's what our founder, Dr. Jack Selby, always believed in. And with this vocation that we have, we are also very happy to share that thanks to your contribution, thanks to the support of all the doctors we have worldwide, we have about 100 million patients who are treated daily by Servier medication, making us a leader in cardiology, second in Europe, and fifth worldwide. And thanks to this whole idea of being an entirely independent company governed by a non-profit foundation, we are able to invest 25% of the total revenue in R&D, unlike the industry standard of say just 6 to 7%, which is invested back into R&D. So we are very proud of that, and that is why we are able to come to you with these kind of solutions. So this was about Servier, some other things which are very relevant from today's point of view, and I'm sure you will appreciate these facts that are there on the screen. Is that what Servier supports? First, it supports Make in India. So we have long been a supporter in the Make in India concept, because of which, even though our active molecule comes from France, the tableting or the manufacturing happens right here in India. That is why even the prices have come down substantially from the earlier years. We also believe in not having Chinese API, but API sourced from our head office in France. Of course, you will appreciate the kind of benefits it offers us today, so that we are not affected by the price changes from coming from China or any other issues that come together from that. And the raw materials are sourced from a single factory which meets the European agency standards, European Medicine Agency standards. So a patient taking dimicron in say France or Europe or Middle East or Australia, it is the same quality of medication worldwide. So which are there on the next slide, just to take you through the main marketed drugs in India. The point being, as I just mentioned, that a patient who takes, for example, Coversil AM or Triplexam, which is our newest launch in India, is offered the same quality which a patient in France will get, or in any other country where Servier is present, out of the 140 countries where our presence is currently. So next slide, please. And we are today here with all of you. Thanks for joining us, and we would like to thank you for all the work that all the pharmacists have done worldwide. You have been present 24/7, even though when the world was shut down, to help us with the medications, our supplies. Thank you for that, and just out of a token of gratitude that we have to share with you, we have this webinar here today with Silver Oak, who happens to be one of the foremost expert organizations in offering mindfulness in India. And from Silver Oak today, we have Chinmay J, who is a psychological counselor at Silver Oak, and in fact happens to be very proficient in the field of psychology. She has actually pursued psychology right from her 11th grade, followed, of course, by her undergraduation and post graduation also in psychology. Um, after which she has joined Silver Oak and has several years of professional experience with her across sections and spheres of society, be it teaching, academics, schools, universities, or big corporates, where she has conducted training sessions. And we are happy to have her with us for an exclusive session today for our friends, all the pharmacists across India. So on this note, I would like to thank you all for joining once again. I'll see you later, and in the meanwhile, the floor is yours, Chennai, and you can take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Sami. Good afternoon, all of you. On behalf of Silver Oak, I would like to extend a warm thank you to all of you for the services that you have provided to the entire society during this hard times of COVID, the pandemic that we are all in middle of. So I would like to start by saying
Hello.
Sami, I think there was a technical issue. She's just rejoining.
Yeah, we just had a connectivity disturbance. Sorry about that. Just a minute, please. I'm sure Chinmay will be back again in a minute. Uh, as we wait for Chinmay to join us. Uh, Right. So in the meanwhile, I'm sure you must have received the IPS certificates as well, just to briefly touch upon that. In case if you haven't received, you can send us a mail on the following ID, which is my email ID directly. Please feel free to go ahead and share that, which is sami.mukadam@surveyor.com, which goes as SAMEE dot mukadam, MUKADAM, at surveyor.com. Uh, Send an email in case we haven't received your certificate till now for any of the IPA courses, the first or the second one. And in the meanwhile, I'm sure Chinmay is back again. Yes, Chinmay is back again, so I'll hand over to her.
hello all. I'm extremely sorry for the inconvenience caused. Um, so we'll be right back at the presentation. Right. I hope it is visible.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, like I was saying, as a thank you to the services that you have provided to the entire society during the hard times of pandemic, we are here to return back to you in a small means by helping you understand your mental health and putting you in touch with your own mental health. Now, let's begin our session with a small activity, right? Um, if you have a notepad and a pen, it would be great. This activity involves you to write down 5 things that you see, 5 things that you can see in your immediate environment, 3 things that you can feel right now, 4 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Repeating, 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Take 2 minutes and please do this activity by listing down these things. Right. I hope all of you could list down the things that you could see, sense, feel, that is feel, hear, smell, and taste. This is a grounding activity. This is one of the mindfulness activities that helps us keep in touch with here and now. And like all of us know, when we talk about problems, the problems exist in the present. The problems happen in the present, the problems play out in the present. But we are generally occupied on planning for the future to solve the future problem, or we are fixated in thinking of something that happened in the past, thinking of how did the problem happen? Why is the problem happening? Why is it happening only to me? So instead of when we are faced with a problem, when we are faced with a crisis, if we could ground ourselves in reality, if we could ground ourselves to focus on here and now, we will be at a more resourceful state in order to deal with our problems immediately rather than being preoccupied in the past or in the future. This is one activity as psychologists that we administer on our clients in order to help them be in the here and now and thus carry on with their everyday routines more successfully. Now, in the chat, right below the chat section on the screen, you will be able to find a link to menti.com. Kindly go on to the menti.com and enter the code that is given right above the website. This is a poll that we want to take in order to understand what exactly is causing you stress at the moment. So if you could go to the link and give your responses. Go to the link and give your responses. That will help us understand what is making you stressed out right now. Too much work, concern about health, multitasking, COVID. Okay. We'll just give some more time for people to respond. Right. I think, right. Too much work, health, COVID-19, departure, definitely loneliness. Right. Okay. I think we all understood and we all saw the concerns that were shared with us right now. So, this is very true. A lot of people are concerned about being alone, especially the work having shifted back to home. All of us are living in our own homes and in our personal spaces, and yet are feeling lonely. The person contact, that is the people contact that we generally have, has minimized. It has reduced greatly. People, when of course you people are someone who are on field and providing your services, but despite that, there are a lot of times when you might also come in touch with people, but they are only there to purchase their medications from you and not necessarily to completely uh, talk to you or be with you, right? So, given this situation, mental health itself needs to be taken into consideration. We need to start focusing on mental health, because physical health is, of course, important. We cannot discard the importance of physical health, but many a times taking care of our mental health could ease our physical health concerns as well. Now, what are the things that indicate us uh, about our mental health ailments? How do we get to know? How do we identify that we have concerns about our psychological well being? The first thing that could be of concern is
Chinmay, give a few minutes on this slide because there is a time lag, right? People are
okay.
going to be posting the responses.
Okay. Am I audible though?
Yes.
Okay.
So participants, you all can see the menti.com and the code on your screen next to the live webinar. You can click on the hyperlink, just enter the code, and this question of what is causing you stress at the moment will be visible. So all responses are anonymous, so you can put in whatever is the stress that you're facing at the moment. And once you complete voting, you can return back to the live webinar page. To your first exercise, we see some responses coming in, Chinmay, saying the hear, smell, perfume, medicine
Right.
in the chat box.
Okay.
So we're going to give you a few seconds more to respond on the activity.
Hello.
Hello.
If it's all right, you can move on because there might be some time constraints.
Okay. All right. I was wondering, what are you able to see now? You are seeing the menti.com page, right?
We are seeing the slide with the word cloud, yeah. The menti.com page with the word
Right.
cloud.
Right. Okay. Um, right. Is the slide visible now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, like I was saying, it is very important for us to, of course, we saw the concerns that were there in the poll right now. A lot of them are to do with loneliness. A lot of them are to do with how to manage the multiple responsibilities that have befallen on us, multitasking, etc., health concerns, departure of somebody near and dear ones, maybe due to the pandemic or due to natural causes. It is also very interesting how during the pandemic phase, any kind of bad news or any kind of news that does not bring us pleasant emotions is being magnified in our health, in our minds, right? So it becomes very essential, especially at this time, for us to start focusing on mental health. Now, the question could be, how do I know that I have mental health concerns? How do I identify that I might need mental health guidance or mental health support? Um, to answer this question, we will start identifying. Okay. Um, are you able to see the slide?
No, you need to minimize the browser.
Okay. All right. Just a minute. Uh, can you see the slide now?
You can see the browser.
Even now?
Yeah, the slides are not visible. You'll have to open the PPT, Chinmay.
Right. 1 second. Is this all right now?
Yeah, just I need to put on slideshow and we can.
Yes.
proceed.
Okay. I hope I was audible when the screen was stuck on.
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. Right. Now, to answer, how do we identify that we have mental health concerns, or we need to take into consideration to talk or consult somebody, or even work on ourselves, is when we identify the following symptoms. It is when we see ourselves being worried about a lot of things. It is when we see ourselves being easily irritated by a lot of people around us, the slightest of voice, the slightest of noise, which is very natural to us to be around, which is very common for us to be around. The moment we see ourselves being preoccupied with thoughts, we are having issues eating properly, we are having issues sleeping properly, um, constant feeling of sadness, constant feeling of disinterestedness. Things that used to interest us before has stopped interesting us right now. All of these are concerns that could indicate us that we might be at the brim of or the edge of mental health concerns. Now, a lot of these issues that we might be feeling could not be very exaggerated. And sometimes it is very important for us to identify these ailments at the very beginning and not wait till it becomes bigger for us to take actions towards it. Now, most of these mental health concerns are the general feelings also that people have. Like many a times when people approach us, they ask us questions of, isn't this normal to happen? I am not eating properly, but I do that sometimes. I'm not able to sleep properly, but yeah, that's okay. um, and off late, I don't feel like talking to anybody. All of these can come across as very normal. These can be normal experiences as well. But these are experiences that need to be worked on. These are experiences that that deserve our focus in order to not let them become bigger issues later, right? So, a few mental health symptoms could be feeling anxious or worried, like I said, feeling afraid of things, feeling unhappy or depressed, having multiple emotional outbursts at the slightest of things, being withdrawn or being very quiet, losing appetite or eating more or eating less, sleeping more or sleeping less. Any of these could be indicators of mental health conditions. Substance abuse. Of course, a lot of people can have habit of being smokers and being into alcohol, but it needs to be in check. These are behaviors that really, really need to be in check, because what might start giving us pleasure could at a long run be making or creating problems and ruckus to our health, both physically and mentally. And constant feeling of guilt or worthlessness. Now, again, given the pandemic situation, all of these feelings are feelings that we have noticed as psychologists when we speak to our clients during the therapy session. And of course, some of these may not be the things that came out in the poll that we considered right now, but the loss of loved ones or any kind of bad news, there is so much socio-political issues happening around in our society. All of these can have direct or indirect impact on our mental health. The constant fear of losing jobs, the constant pressure on performing well in order to not lose job, the constant performance that we need to be on in order to provide and meet the demands of our customers, all of these can pile up and cause us what we call stress. Now, when I say stress, it is a very, 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 very commonly used word. I feel stressed out today. It is very stressful for me to do this. It is stressful for me to not do this. Stress is a word that we use on a regular basis way too often. And it is used way too often is an indication that it is one of the mental health concerns that is also encountered way too often, right? Now, what are the symptoms of stress? How does stress affect us? Is stress always just psychological? Let's see what are the symptoms of stress. Stress, like I indicated, not necessarily always have to be psychological. The stress can have effects on multiple areas of functioning. It can have effect on our physical abilities. That is, a person could be feeling extremely tired. The person could constantly be complaining of having stiff muscles, or somebody who clenches their teeth in the face of stress. All of these are indicators that the person is experiencing stress. Somebody could have constant headaches. Somebody could have constant irritation in their stomach. Somebody could have digestion problems. Somebody might not be feeling like eating. Somebody might be overeating. Somebody might be constantly profusely sweating. Their heart might be palpitating at a very high rate. They will, a lot of people also complain of having heavy heart. uh, a lot of people complain of having breathing difficulties. All of these, of course, could be indicators of multiple physiological concerns, but they definitely are also symptoms of stress when we talk of the physical and physiological symptoms of stress. Now, what does stress do to us psychologically? Psychologically, stress is one condition that is looped onto or changed to multiple other psychological conditions. Stress can be a starter or a trigger to somebody leading to depression, for somebody to feel extremely sad. Stress, it can be work related, familial stress, personal stress. Any kind of stress can lead a person to feel anxious, for constantly a person to be overwhelmed, their entire system to be so at pressure, at higher functioning, that at the end of the day they feel stressed out, they feel worn out, they feel pessimistic, they don't have anything positive to think of. These are the psychological effects that the stress can have on an individual. Now, when a person is constantly psychologically and physically so burdened, it is natural for it to have its effect on the way a person starts thinking. That is our cognitive effects. The person, like I said, can have an onset of pessimistic thinking pattern. They might start having negative thoughts. They might not do anything in their lives going ahead because they have negative outcomes as their frame of mind. They might lose ability to focus on the work that has to be done right now. They might lose focus on the goals that they need to have for themselves. They might be having difficulty to make decisions. They might not be in a great place to think of solutions for their problems that they are facing. Also, stress over a long period of time has been proven to have severe effect on our memory. So a lot of individuals today, especially, are reporting at clinics indicating at a very young age difficulties in remembering names. They have difficulties in remembering their routines. They have difficulties in remembering the mundane things that they used to generally remember as well. Now, all of these are also effect of long present or long experienced stress, right? The fourth component or the fourth major symptom of stress is behavioral. When our physical abilities are compromised, when our thinking abilities are compromised or altered, when our psychological well-being or psychological effects of stress are becoming very evident, then of course it is going to have impact on the behavioral manifestation of all of these. Now, when I say behavioral manifestation, most commonly identified concerns are that somebody is constantly losing weight, or somebody is putting on weight, somebody is becoming easily aggressive, somebody is walking around with their fist and their teeth clenched so much that they are coming across as frustrated individuals to other people just by the looks of the behavior. They might have a lot of interpersonal challenge. When a person is stressed out, it becomes very difficult for them to take care of themselves, let alone take care of somebody else. So all of these have behavioral manifestations. The stress sometimes ends up showing outright in the way we behave with another person as well. And of course, like we mentioned, in the psychological effects as well as in the cognitive effects, there could be multiple reasons why the person is holding back from socializing at this period, right? Now, when we know that stress has these many implications on us, these many effects on us, physically, psychologically, cognitively, behaviorally, it means we need to start taking care of ourselves. Now, how do we do that? How do we manage stress? First thing, like I said, the first step always towards health is to identify the ailment. And now that we have understood how stress comes across, or how any kind of mental ailment comes across, we can now shift our focus in understanding how we can manage stress and anxiety when we face them. Now, stress, like we understood, is not something that is purely concerned with our mind alone. Stress is something that is concerned with our body as well. And psychology as a subject is not necessarily only the study of our mind, it is the study of our behavior. And behavior means it is our body and inside of our body. So it becomes very important for us to de-stress our body. Now, how all of us have detoxing routines in our diet, how all of us have detoxing routines in our fitness regimes, it also becomes important for us to have de-stressing mechanisms for our own body. Now, the first thing to begin with is to have healthy body. Healthy body includes keeping in check all our vitals, that is knowing that our bpa should be in check, knowing that our heart rate should be in check, knowing and being concerned about how we are breathing, knowing and being concerned about what we are eating, eating well, eating right, eating the right amount, eating the right kind of food. All of these becomes contributing factors to our healthy body. Now, I'm sure we all belong to our households where a lot of emphasis is given on eating, sleeping, and exercising just by tradition, not by any other means, just by tradition. There are our mothers, grandmothers, parents, fathers who constantly tell us eat on time, sleep on time, wake up on time, go out and walk for some time. All of these are advices that are given to us, handed down from generation to generation, because definitely it has positive impact on our overall health. Now, it is very important for us to keep a track on what we are eating. It is equally important for us to keep a track on the amount of activity that we are doing. From the time the lockdown has begun, I am aware that a lot of gyms have shut down, parks have shut down. Now, does that mean that it should be the end of our exercise routine? Not necessarily. We can have a lot of exercise routines right in our room. We can start practicing yoga. We can do the exact same exercises that we would be doing in the gym using the home equipments. There are so many videos online that would help us and train us and guide us on uh, following these healthy regimes. So please contribute certain amount of your day to engage in physical exercise. Now, of course, given the pandemic situation, hygiene is something that has been stressed on for a very, very, very long time. Now, hygiene starts off with us taking bath, us constantly washing our hands and keeping ourselves clean every time we enter the house, when we go out and come back in. It Hygiene, body hygiene also includes how often do we wash our hands, because now, given the COVID situation, we also are aware that a lot of people are stressing to even keep up with this hygiene routine. Now, this is not something that we are propagating to stress you out more, but instead we are trying to propagate this in order to help you keep healthy body, right? Now, given the lockdown, a lot of our schedules are haywire. A lot of us were working. We had a set schedule: wake up in the morning, prepare the daily routines, do go through the daily routines, and go to work, which itself takes up the larger chunk of our day. And we come back and we had a routine. But now that has been thrown haywire, and that is having a direct impact on the amount and quality of sleep that we are having. So I think it is also time we should start focusing on how well we are sleeping, how long we are sleeping, and right, like I said, the quality of sleep is also something that needs to be taken into consideration. Avoid alcohol, avoid any kind of intoxication, because one, we do not have the kind of physical activity that could help us complement to all of these. And these behaviors and these habits in a long run is not going to have any kind of positive effect. These are intoxicators that make us feel momentarily good, but it is not going to make us be productive at all. Anybody who is under the influence of alcohol is not in the right state of mind in order to deal with their problems effectively right away, right? So let's all avoid alcohol and any kind of intoxications from now on, at least. Now, like I said, stress is not only to do with our body, it is also to do with our mind. It is predominantly, in fact, to do with our mind. Now, how do we go about doing de-stressing of our mind? Talk about your feeling. Talking is a very natural human tendency. Talking is a suggestion that even we as psychologists take. We are involved in what we call talk therapy, right? So talking is very, very, very beneficial. The moment we start talking about our feelings to somebody, not necessarily that the other person has always solutions to offer to the problems that we are telling them. The beauty of talking is, as I talk, I can also hear. And many a times, talking and verbalizing our thoughts also helps us listen to our own thoughts, and listening to our own thoughts can itself help us come up with our own solutions. So kindly find yourself some time out of your daily routine to talk about your feelings, to identify your feelings, to label your feelings, to use words to express those feelings, and this is going to help you in a very long term. Positive outlook. Having positive outlook is easier said than done. So it is acknowledged, definitely, But having positive outlook again becomes a very important factor in maintaining a healthy mind and healthy body. The more we dwell or keep ourselves in negative framework, we will be digging deeper into the problem, and we will not be focusing much on climbing up the well that we have already dug for ourselves in order to reach the surface to close the well down. So we will, of course, going ahead, we will be doing an activity that will help you uh, get a sneak into how you can shift your mindset, focus from being negative to positive, from being not so resourceful to being more resourceful. Stay in present. I think we started off this session by focusing on this. We started saying it becomes very important to stay in present. Like I said, most of our problems are happening to us in present. They might be because of our past, they might have definite impact on our future. But if we spend a lot of time thinking about why it started or what can happen of it in the future, we are not really dealing with the problem. So try to stay focused on what is happening here and now. And this also is going to help you detox your mind to a large extent. Connect with others. Loneliness, like we saw even when we did the poll, was one of the factors that was indicated as the concerns that each of us are facing. It is true that a lot of us are feeling alone right now, but it is not because we don't have anybody to talk. We can always take a little schedule out of our normal routine and identify at least one person that we could talk about our feelings to. We could talk about our thoughts to, right? So kindly connect with people, make it a deliberate activity to talk to people. What happens deliberately then eventually will become habituated. Eventually it will become automatic for all of us, right? uh, Take break to unwind. Now amidst all of the things that we are doing, it comes across as I'm just adding on for you to do list. Yeah, to do list, it's like I'm adding things onto you. But kindly take time for yourself, kindly take breaks for yourself. We know that we have a very tight schedule, but I'm sure that tight schedule also has 5 minutes for you to take for yourself, to just sit and breathe, to just sit, close your eyes and think within or look within, or go at the window and look outside for just 5 minutes and unwind your entire day's stress and get back to your get back to life or get back to work with a refreshed mind. Self compassion is something that is extremely avoided in a stressful situation. In a stressful situation, we do not give time to thank ourselves, thank our body, thank the resources that we have, thank our loved ones, and take care of ourselves inside out. And I think that self compassion, saying this is my limit, this is how much I can do, and appreciating ourselves for what we have done. All of this is a package of love to what we can offer to ourselves. And of course, going ahead, we have an activity where we will be talking about self compassion as well, which can be added to our routine itself to make it unavoidable, where we are saying thanks to ourselves on a regular basis and taking care of ourselves on a regular basis. Now, if any of these or doing all of these itself is overwhelming, or it sometimes definitely can get overwhelming, it is acknowledgeable. There is always professionals to help you. There is always counselors that you could reach out to. There are a lot of people in the society that are offering, like me, like a psychologist, we are offering our services throughout the pandemic and throughout the days to come forward as well. We are here to offer our help and services uh, to your ailments and to your problems. So definitely, please reach out to us. We know that there is a lot of stigma attached to mental health, and I'm also here to acknowledge that the stigma attached to mental health is definitely reducing over the few days and over the few years now. Especially during pandemic, mental health is being propagated even at the government level. So I don't think there is anything that you should stop yourself for. And of course, when you reach out to a client or reach out to a counselor, your identity, your concerns will be kept confidential. This is something that will surely be done for you. So please feel free to reach out for your own good. Now, talk about stress and what causes us stress mostly. What causes us stress? It is our thoughts, it is our thought patterns. But there is very little that we can do about it, really, right? Thought is so natural to human beings that even if you try to stop thinking, that is a thought in itself. So research have proven that 47% of our awake time we spend in thinking, we spend in our thoughts. There is inner dialogues happening when we are not really exclusively thinking productively. There is some or the other inner thoughts happening, inner dialogues running about. There are more than 60,000 thoughts that our mind endures throughout the day. And I think it is very important for us to also give a break to our mind by doing multiple activities, of which you will be getting hands on experience right now during this session, right? For the next activity, I want you to take a grip of a sheet and a pen that is available to you, and think of any mild problem that you might be facing right now. I'm using the word mild because if you think of anything greater, then it would lead me to take a therapy session, which is not very conducive on a online platform like this. But think of something very mild, like as simple as I'm not able to eat my breakfast on time, or something as simple as uh, I don't know, like I'm not able to give 15 minutes to talk to somebody. So something very mild that you can think of, a mild problem in your life right now, or anything that you think you have been focusing on for a very long time, but you're not getting the results for, or the results that you expect. So something very small, please, and write this problem down at the top of the sheet. I will allow you a few minutes to identify your problem and take a note of it. Now, if you have identified a problem or a concern that is bothering you right now, keep that in mind. Of course, it is written on the sheet, and answer the following questions for me. Answer by answer what is wrong? What is the problem? Why do I have this problem? What is the reasons I'm having this problem? From how long am I having this problem? From how long is this enduring with me in my life? How is this limiting me? How is this stopping me? Or how is this impacting me? How does this problem stop me from doing what I want to do? Whose all fault is it that I have this problem? It might not always be just you, it can be multiple other factors as well. So include all those factors when you're writing this question, answer to this question. And when was the last time I experienced this problem? That is, how frequent have you been experiencing it? Again, I will be allowing you a few minutes to answer this question. The questions are on the screen, so you can look at them and answer uh, one after the other. Okay. Assuming that you all could answer at least a few questions from this slide, I'm going to the next set of questions. Kindly answer the following 7 questions. Keeping the same problem or same concern in mind, answer, what do I want? Given the situation, what do I want? When exactly do I want it? By when do I have to see myself having it? How will I know that I have it? So if you have achieved something, this is the question where you need to write down what are the things that are going to indicate to you that you have achieved what you have been wanting to achieve. What resources do I have available to help me achieve this? How can I best use the resources at my disposal? So identify the resources and understand how these can be utilized. What are the external resources I need? Sometimes the resources that are available might not be enough, so we might have to procure more resources. So what could those be? List them down, one or two. And what am I going to begin doing right now about it to achieve what I want? Take another few minutes, 1 minute, and answer these questions. Okay. Right. So again, assuming that all of you have written your responses for these questions, I am sure you could identify a drastic shift in the way you were thinking when you answered the previous set of questions versus the set of questions that you answered right now. The previous set of questions were necessarily problem focused. It helped you build more and more on what your problem is. Why is this happening to you? From when is it happening to you? Etc. etc. But the next set of questions only gave you idea of what can be done about the problem. And this is a small example or small experiment that you could do in order to identify how slight change in your thought or your thinking pattern can actually make you be at the beneficial end of your problem chain, right? It can make you focus on the solutions more than the problem itself, right? Now, having done this, I hope this activity was helpful for all of you to understand how a slight change in the way we think can help us and become more productive at what we want to do. We will proceed to perform a mindfulness exercise. Again, this is a very short exercise. This is an exercise that will help you feel relaxation right away, and for which I would like all of you to assume a sitting position where you are sitting relaxed with your back straight but not strained, with your legs not crossed, grounded on the floor, with your hand on your thigh. Kindly sit in this relaxed position and follow my voice. Now you're sitting comfortably. Start focusing on your surroundings with your eyes closed. Close your eyes and start focusing on the sounds around you. Start focusing on the air on your skin. Start focusing on the texture of your shirt, texture of your clothes on your skin. Slowly shift your focus to the way you are breathing. Do not alter the way you're breathing, just focus on how your breathing is. Focus on where you can sense the breathing. Generally, at the tip of your upper lip, you will be able to sense the breath. It is very natural for our mind to drift away and think otherwise. That is okay. Just bring back your attention to all the senses, to how your dress or your clothes feel on your skin, to how you are breathing, how the breath feels on the top of the lip, to how the ground feels under the feet, and remain here and focus on your breath. Now start deepening your breath with deeper inhale and deeper exhale. You will feel that your body is calmer than before. And focusing on your breath, again, shift your focus on your breath. Gently shift back your attention to my voice. Slowly take your time and blink open your eyes and back to the screen. I hope this small activity helped you people to take a little time off your busy schedule every day and to just focus on the multiple sensations that a person undergoes in a given time that can take a lot of your attention away from the things that worry us, right? To end the session, I would like to talk a little about this word gratitude. Gratitude, this is the Wikipedia definition that I have put into the slide, which says it is a quality of being thankful. Now, this is a quality as human beings we generally understand in terms of others. We feel gratitude towards others. If from today going ahead, if we can feel gratitude towards ourselves and identify that throughout whatever happens, it is our body, our mind, and our heart that is should be in place in order for us to even be in this moment. So let's start making it a habit to feel gratitude and express gratitude towards ourselves, our bodies, our heart, our mind, and say thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll just take a couple of questions, Chinmay, from the audience.
Sure.
I will just read out the questions.
Sure.
There is a question saying how to control multiple thoughts and emotions during stress.
Right. So the best way would be, like I said, to identify and verbalize them. If these are thoughts that are recurrent, then kindly make a list of it. Write down so your eyes are also able to see it and read them out loud so your ears are able to hear it. Now, when you do this, you will be able to also analyze how many of these thoughts you can act upon and how many of these thoughts you cannot really do anything about. Then segregate these thoughts into these two lists again, the thoughts that you can do something about and the thoughts that you cannot do anything about, and start focusing on the thoughts that you can work on, right? So that way, by doing so, a little part of stress that is giving you anxiety of how do I go about handling so many thoughts could be eased a little at least. Okay, so this is a very small tip that I can give right away when somebody asks me this question. But the check to multiple thoughts is, like I said, there is no way to stop the thoughts from coming right away. It takes a lot of it takes a due course of therapy to learn to do that. But again, try to list down these thoughts and understand what needs focus and what needs no focus or cannot be dealt with at all. And another thing would be to practice mindfulness, the first activity that we did, to consciously bring back all our cognitive energy to the five sensations and start listing the five things that you can see, the four things that you can feel, the three things that you can hear, the two things that you can smell, and one thing that you can taste. So that way, you're distracting your mind very consciously from those thoughts and focusing yourself on here and now. And when you end this activity, try to get back to doing something that is of value to you right now. So it may be your professional work. It can be something as simple as, okay, I'm going to go grab lunch right now. So just start focusing on something that you can act upon right now at the end of that activity. I think that is something I very quickly I can tell you about this.
Okay, great. There are a couple of more questions which have come about on maintaining healthy routines and also on managing some behaviors like getting irritated and managing their temper. So this was covered during the slides, but you can just sum it up.
Okay. So about getting irritated, I think this is one of the things that also came up in the cloud when we did the poll. One reason why a lot of us do get irritated, or our problem with irritation, is our response to that irritation. The moment we feel irritated at somebody or at a particular object or a sound, we react to it, and most often than not, our reaction is what is causing us more problem than the sound or the stimulus itself. So one quick thing that all of us can do is to walk away from there, from to walk away from anything that is causing us irritation without reacting to it, and taking our time off to learn to respond to these things. So it is like when you are having a heated conversation with someone, try to excuse yourself from that conversation, cut off yourself from that person, cut off yourself from that situation, give yourself some time which your mind will utilize to frame answers to. Many a times when you're in between a heated conversation, you will find yourself without an answer, but after the heated conversation, just within 10 minutes, you will be, I could have told this, I could have told this, I could have done this. Happens. That is pretty natural. Any heated situation or any irritating situation or any negative situation is only going to throw us off guard. So if we can make it a habit to walk out and take time out from that stressor or stressful situation, our mind will automatically give itself the time to think and come up with better responses that could ease the situation for us. So one suggestion that, again, right away at the top of my mind could be for you to walk out of that situation that is causing you irritability or irritation and enter back after you have given yourself time.
We don't have any further questions.
Okay, Navita.
So we can wrap up and hand over to Sami. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Sami, for this opportunity for us to talk a little about mental health. Over to you.
So, thank you, Chinmay. Thank you. We have Navita as well from Silver Oak. So I think it was a great session. We could actually see that from the number of questions which were asked during the session. And very happy to have all of the pharmacists with us today, because of which the today's session was even you made it all the more special thanks to your engagement and active question and answers, which I think it really made this session special for us. So I think the way we'll go ahead is, of course, we thank you from the bottom of hearts once again for all the work that you have done and you continue to do during the pandemic and even during the normal days. I'm sure pharmacists remain a vital part of the society. I will just take this uh, platform to kind of reach out to the attendees of the IPA course as well, because we did have two IPA courses and we have sent about the certificates to about 2,500 or 3,000 attendees nationally. But even if you find that if there is a mistake somewhere, or even if you find that certificates have not come to you, my email ID is right there on the screen, samir@survey.com. Please feel to reach out to us at any time with your feedback, suggestions. We'll be happy to know that. And once again, a very happy World Pharmacist Day to all of you. And please pass on our regards to your colleagues who are pharmacists as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Thank you. Right. So thank you. Thanks, Chinmay. Thanks, Chinmay. Thanks.